What's up, everyone? Hope everyone's doing all right. Okay, so as you can see in the title, well, I watched this particular episode on this ID Discovery called Evil Lives Here, and the episode name was Sleeping with the Enemy. And I vaguely heard about this story years ago. You know, you hear similar stories like this, so it's like you hear one story, you hear them all. So, in this episode of Evil Lives Here, this young woman that you see, she told her story of her being with a guy who she didn't know was HIV positive. And he intentionally gave her that disease as well as other women. So, how she met him, it was on a job, they were co-workers. And so the first time they were intimate, right? She asked him for a condom. He didn't have a condom on him. And he was trying to have unprotected sex with her. And she told him, well, I have a condom. And so he used one. But the way he was basically trying to sleep with her either way. Like he was really trying to have unprotected sex with her. But she made him use a condom. So fast forward to that, she expressed to him that she didn't want a casual relationship and she wanted to be more serious. And so he told her that he doesn't use condoms in relationships. And she told him, well, we need to get tested. Okay, they did that. Her results were, clean. But his, right? He got tested for everything, right? Except HIV. Now, that was a red flag right there. And the story he gave her, right? He said the reason why is because the doctor said, "Oh, if you show up with anything, we'll call you." So she basically took his word for it, but no, he didn't get tested for it. He got tested for everything else, but didn't get tested for HIV. That was a huge red flag. And anyone who tampers with the test or lie about it obviously have shit to hide or they're afraid of the outcome. Don't trust a motherfucker like that. So she basically took his word for it and they began having unprotected sex. So she was being intimate with him without protection. And when she was with him, right? Now mind you, she brought him around her family, right? But when it came to her seeing his family, he was very not into that. And it was for a reason. He didn't want her meeting his mom because first of all, she didn't know he was married. Okay? She didn't know he was married. And if she would have got a chance to talk to his mother, she would have found out sooner. And his mom knew he was HIV positive. And also, his wife had HIV as well. He gave her HIV and other women after her. So I'm gonna play y'all a little bit of this so you guys can get an idea. I'm gonna share this. Just a second. Okay. Okay. So I showed you all a little clip of that. Okay. Now you guys seen that. So she started, experiencing symptoms. She thought it was the flu. She was losing her hair, having a dry cough, and having all types of symptoms she was going through. And she, the doctor was trying to figure out what was going on with her. So they thought at first it was, well, they thought she had some type of cancer or some shit like that, right? And hey, Triple, how are you? And so the doctor, told her she was HIV positive. So she didn't believe it. And the guy who intentionally infected her, that she was in a relationship with, he the whole time was not saying shit. He never fessed up or anything. So this whole time, they're just figuring out what was going on. And she got the diagnosis. And so she confronted him about it, asking, were you cheating on me? Because she was only with him. So at first, she didn't think at the time he intentionally was spreading that disease to her. She just thought he was cheating on her. And so he denied it, kept denying. And then, she got fed up and she blocked him. And so she, when she found out her diagnosis, she OD. Well, she attempted to OD on insulin because she was, diabetic. So she OD'd off of that because, she was diagnosed with that. Her mom saved her. And so she found out she was having the dude's baby. And he didn't want it, but she went ahead and had the baby anyways. And she took the treatment so it would have transferred to the baby. And so the baby is negative. And so hey Silent J, how are you? And so she did some digging and she found out a whole lot of shit. So she went on social media, giving her testimony. And through that, she found out there were other women he infected. And she also was able to get in contact with his mother, which she found out that he was married and that he was HIV positive. And so she hit up the wife. The wife told her that he gave her HIV. And the wife, she had it since 2009. And, when he did get diagnosed, he didn't come back to the doctor's office to get his treatment. So he intentionally was spreading that shit. It's like you didn't have enough decency to at least, take measures to protecting others. But you just didn't give a fuck. And so, long story short, she was able to get his ass charged for that because, it's a crime to intentionally spread shit. And he justified that shit by telling her while he was locked up, and that was the last time she's spoken to him, he told her, well, I didn't rape you. You could have maybe used a condom. And it's like, you didn't try to protect her. You didn't try to protect none of the women. You knew you had something and you did not tell the women, nor did you bother to get into treatment so you wouldn't spread that shit. Okay? When you're in treatment, it goes undetectable. Okay? You didn't even bother doing that. And yeah, he's right now he's currently locked up. He's doing time for 30 years. Yeah, that's just fucked up. And I heard like similar stories to this, so it's like I vaguely heard about this story years ago, but it's like too many stories to keep up. So yeah, this shit was crazy. And I like watching ID discovery shows. I'm into whole true crime shit. So that's what they provide, true crime stuff. So yeah, and also the child doesn't have nothing to do with him at all. So the lady, she's undetectable, and I'm gonna play another clip for you guys. Hold on a second. Just a second here. Let's see.
I started getting this condition, like these blocks. He arm around me and he said, baby, everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna find out what's going on. And he'd rather me Thursday I was in the ICU. I had been right and I was in that heat period. And he was just making it worse. So I didn't want to talk to him. My doctor felt like I should have saw something. Told me that he had given it to her.
Okay, I'm getting this part.
It's changed. You took my choice. You didn't take my body, but you took my choice away. I think sometimes he did it for fun. It was about power. And rape is about power.
Hello. Can anyone hear me?
I think
Okay. Are we back? Press 1 if anyone can hear me. Damn, okay, they took that off. So, yeah, you guys seen that. Yeah, Jackie, that was so fucked up what he did. And you can't be out here intentionally giving someone shit. The fuck? That's a crime. And he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. He didn't take any measures to protect none of those women he was intimate with. He didn't take any meds. See, if he had it his way, he would have been having unprotected sex. And it's disgusting. He was very dishonest. And he should have been real with her, period. And you should have went out your way to protect the people that you're intimate with. Because if he would have been on meds, he would have went undetectable, which prevents transmission. And people like that are psychopaths. There's no good in them at all. And I heard enough stories like this. And it's disgusting that there's people who would intentionally do that to someone. It's crazy. And it just shows you gotta always watch your back. Even in relationships. Don't stop there. Continue getting tested, okay? It doesn't matter if you're in a so-called monogamous relationship because you can't control what the next person does. So that's why you need to be on your P's and Q's, okay? Because unfortunately, people do step out and everyone doesn't use protection, okay? So you have to look after your health. You can't expect that person to give a fuck about you more than you give a fuck about yourself. And yeah, and it's just very sad, and it's cruel out here, man, period. So yeah, always, no matter your relationship status, always and continue to get tested. No matter what. Because of situations like this. Oh, and anyone who tampers with the test or lie about taking the test or has shit to hide, period. Because who refuses to take a test, okay? Don't you want to take care of your health? Like, people like that don't trust their ass. That's a huge red flag. Don't trust motherfuckers like that. Seriously. A person like that does not take their health seriously and sure do not give a fuck about others. Because that's just part of sexual health. That's what you're supposed to do, get tested. And, if you catch something, get into treatment and continue to protect yourself. And it's just very ridiculous in this day and age, especially with all the resources that we have. Like, stuff like this is totally unavoidable nowadays when we have advanced medically wise. Like, there's PrEP out here. There's meds you can take to live a long life, and you can go undetectable. So you won't transmit that to anyone. You can stay healthy. Like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't you not get tested? Why would you not do all you can to protect others. That makes no fucking sense to me. And see, even when I'm in relationships, I still fucking get tested. I trust no fucking one in that regard. I'm sorry. If I'm married, I'm still getting a fucking test, okay? Because I want to make sure my health is good. I don't give a fuck if I'm not experiencing symptoms. I'm still going to take a fucking test anyways. We cannot go by that either because, you know, you can look good on the outside, but your fucking insides are fucking up and you don't even know it because how would you know unless you take a test? Okay? I don't trust motherfuckers. I don't. Okay? It is what it is. And God forbid if you actually experience sexual assault, that's a double whammy, okay? Because that can happen too, okay? You do all the right things and someone violates you and on top of that give you an STI. So unfortunately, yeah, we're dealing with fucked up shit in this world. Okay? And it's just sad. It's a cruel world to live in. Exactly, Jackie. Always take care of your health, okay? Because no one's not going to take care of you like you take care of yourself, because there's motherfuckers who just don't give a fuck. They don't take care of their health, and so they're not going to look after you. And I'm going to tell you another cold part, right? Some people don't even bother getting a test unless they're experiencing symptoms. It's like, do you motherfuckers not understand that you don't have to experience symptoms at first? That's why it's very vital to get tested. And if you happen to catch something, go into treatment, okay? Shit. Jackie says, there is a famous trans woman on YouTube who I heard has undetectable HIV. She's very famous too. Yeah, like there's, you know, people living with all types of shit, you know, and the thing is, there's resources out here. There's treatment. You can live a long life. You don't have to suffer unnecessarily, okay? Not only that, there are free testing, so it's really no excuse not to get tested. I'm sorry. And if you're sexually active, you should get tested regardless of your relationship status. It doesn't discriminate, okay? STIs do not discriminate. They don't give a fuck of the many partners you have or the one partner you have. It doesn't give a fuck about that. All it takes is one time, and that can change your life, okay? Even like curable STIs can be dangerous, okay? The curable ones, because if you don't catch that sooner, it's going to fuck up your body. It's going to fuck up your fertility. And, you know, stuff like syphilis, that's going to fuck up your brain cells, do all types of shit to you. Okay? So it's very vital to get tested. And it just reminds me of that, or speaking of which, it just reminds me of that story in the porn industry. His name was Mr. Marcus. This dude had syphilis, right? And he was doctoring the fucking test and was spreading it to people. Like, dude, you should have just took a break and got your treatment. And when you're done with it, then you can go fuck, okay? Like, who the fuck does that? Like, there's really a lot of people who just don't give a fuck. Kick doors asking me, are you sexually active? When I'm in the mood. How about you, Kick Doors? But yeah, man, I'll say this. I don't fucking play when it comes to my health, and I don't trust motherfuckers. I don't. And even like when you get tested, right, you have to request certain tests. Like you can't assume they're going to test you for everything. You have to be specific on what you want to be tested on. And there's just some STIs you're not going to experience symptoms. You're not. So you don't know what you have unless you get tested, and you have to request that. Kickdoor says, "No, I'm a virgin till marriage." Okay. Even with that, you still be careful. Like, because in marriages, you still have to protect yourself and you still have to get tested. You don't let your guard down just because you're in a so-called monogamous relationship. You still get tested. Jackie says taking PrEP pills for so long that your viral load is no longer testing positive. PrEP pills is only for people who are HIV negative. Now, the meds that HIV positive people take, when they consistently take the meds, they can go undetectable. But, with PrEP, that's specifically for people who are HIV negative, and they're just trying to avoid and prevent from getting HIV. And you have to take that every day when you're on PrEP. And then you have the emergency version called PEP. That's only if you were exposed to HIV and it's a time limit. You have to take it immediately. You take it within 28 days. So, yeah. Jackie says, what are the HIV meds called? Well, I don't know, it's probably different now, but I know people were taking cocktails. So I think now some people take one pill a day. And then I seen on TV, and they've been pushing this in commercials. Like I seen on TV, like they're even like giving HIV positive people options to take a shot versus taking the meds. Victor was next to me. It was some trauma shit, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Kickdoor says that's only for gay men. No, it's not. It's for anyone who wants to avoid getting HIV. It's not. See, that's what I'm saying. Like that's a misconception. And HIV and AIDS does not discriminate. Doesn't care about your sexuality. Like we gotta be past that shit, because when that shit first hit, it did hit the gay community, but we know it just doesn't hit them. It hits everyone. You've seen it affects children, women, straight men. It does not care about your sexuality. It doesn't care. And PrEP is for everyone. It's for anyone that's HIV negative who wants to avoid HIV. So a lot of people, the general public doesn't know about that, but gay men, they're hip to it. They take PrEP to avoid HIV. But I think everyone should take it. Honestly, I don't know why a whole lot of straight women not taking it, especially when you're in a place where that's frequent, the HIV shit, right? You should take that. And it protects you if you potentially sleep with someone who's HIV, at least you have that protection, but you have to take that daily. Kickdoor says, I saw a PrEP commercial and all the people in the commercial were gay. And they need to expand because they should be pushing that onto straight women and straight men because it should be available to everyone. I mean, again, it doesn't discriminate. HIV AIDS can affect anyone. So they should push that for everyone. Madman says, you kind of scared me and got me thinking something could be brought home is a possibility. This is the thing, Madman. Let me tell you something. Even in relationships, you got to be careful. Honestly, you still have to get tested. Like, don't ever let your guard down, because I mean, you hear so many stories about this. You hear people, in relationships, they still catch something, and if you're not experiencing symptoms, some people think they're okay. No, like, the only way you would know is if you get tested. And not only that, like, even when it comes to HIV and AIDS, right, there's also a window period. So yeah, you're negative, but like, you still have to get tested in 3 months. Because yeah, it's one of them things, like, yeah. So as long as you're sexually active, this is one of the things you have to be on top of. You gotta be on top of your health. Even if you're not experiencing symptoms, still get tested. Because again, you can have something and not realize if you're not experiencing symptoms. So you can't go off of that. But yeah, Kickdoors, I don't know why they don't push that on the straight people, because they can really benefit off of that. Because again, HIV and AIDS does not discriminate. So that should be pushed in the community. Jackie says, Google says PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylactic. It's a medicine that can help prevent HIV. Using PrEP can lower your chances of getting HIV from sex by up to 90%. Yep, that's correct. And that's only for people who are HIV negative. And again, you got to take it daily. You can't get lazy. Like, you have to take that daily in order for that to work. So yeah. Let me tell you something. Anytime you get tested, make sure you're getting tested for everything. And you can't assume they're going to test for everything. Like, there's just certain tests like you have to request. Like, they're not going to do it on their own unless you request it. So yeah, again, know your status and don't ever let your guard down, because again, it doesn't discriminate, doesn't care. So anyways, touched on that. So random, but do you guys notice what's going on with HBO Max lately? And it has to do with the merging. Like, Discovery is merging with Warner Brothers. So I'm noticing they're taking away original programs off of HBO Max. And I think it's a bad idea because HBO Max is one of the popular streaming services. So, and I heard, this is what I heard they want to get rid of all of the scripted shows and just have reality TV on there. No bullshit. And that's one of the worst ideas. That's crazy. Jackie says, and don't sleep with anyone from Atlanta. Shit. If you, let me tell you something. If you're gonna fuck around in Atlanta, make sure you protect yourself. Take you some prep. Use a condom. Like, real talk, you really gotta be careful out here. Be careful. You gotta be careful in general. Cause shit, that shit is rampant in DC. So yeah, you gotta really protect yourself out here. So yeah. Oh, and Beyonce had to get rid of a particular line in her song called Heated. And Lizzo got some similar pushback. What happened? Beyonce said a line in the song spazzing. Okay, so it's considered a slur now, I guess, towards people who have cerebral palsy. So she got rid of that line off of her song. And she also went back and took off the sample from Khalees. So yeah, she did that. That man says HBO had some good shows years ago. The Wire was fire. Hell yeah. The Wire was one of the best shows on TV. And what's so shocking about it, they were never nominated for Emmys. Why is that? That was a good ass show. I understand like why certain shows don't get enough attention, these award shows. I don't get it. That's how you know these award shows are a bunch of bullshit. Because a show like that should have at least been nominated for Emmy. Just saying. And it was a good show. Like, the actors were amazing on the show. And a lot of people got their start on that show. Like Michael B. Jordan. His character got killed off. He played Wallace. So yeah, a lot of people got their start on The Wire. Hell, I liked that other show, Oz. That was a good show. HBO has all the good shows. I'm gonna tell you another show that's kind of underrated. This show was out years ago, but it was called The Corner. You guys ever heard of that show? It was revolving around the people hooked on heroin. Oh yeah, I love Snoop Matt, and she was cool. I loved her. Man, Omar stood out though. I love me some Omar, aka Michael. Rest in peace to him. That's sad what happened to him. He went back on that stuff and OD'd on fentanyl. Hey, Auntie, how are you? Jackie says, I love sci-fi. We need another good vampire series. Girl, I love me some sci-fi stuff. I'm into all that shit. Like I'm into horror stuff. Like I'm so obsessed with vampires, aliens. Like I'm into stuff like that. I'm like a nerd. And I just love watching all types of shit. I don't think, and I'm gonna tell you another genre like we don't see a lot of. I wish there were more witch shows, right? Especially with black folks. Like you don't see a lot of those shows. Like you don't. Oh yeah, I love True Blood. That was a good ass show. I love that show. Love me some True Blood. I used to like watching Vampire Diaries, but I didn't like how they did my girl Bonnie. They always sideline her character. I thought that was some bullshit. They always underused her. That was some bullshit. Yeah, so I like I'm gonna tell you other shows I like watching. I like watching oh, Chucky. Yeah, there is a series revolving around Chucky. If you guys didn't know, it comes on USA as well as Sci-Fi Channel. And season 2 starts in October. And season 1 was good. You know, they had Chucky's love interest, Tiffany. Oh, and fun fact, the chick that's in the wheelchair that's possessed by Chucky. If you guys didn't know, that guy who voices Chucky, that's his real life daughter. If you guys didn't know that. Yeah, that's his daughter in real life. Just in case you didn't know. And Chucky used to scare the shit out of me when I was younger. But as I got older, I'm looking at that motherfucker like, get the fuck out of here. That doll ain't shit. That doll, if anything, makes me laugh, okay? I'm not scared of that damn doll now. When I was younger, that doll used to scare the shit out of me. Oh, yeah, I like Tara on True Blood. Yep. Yeah, man, I'm into a whole lot of horror stuff. Like, I can watch anything and not get scared. I'm very numb to scary shit. I like watch. I'm gonna tell you another show I used to like watching. I wouldn't have no issue like if they rebooted that show. Tales of the Crypt. Oh my gosh, I used to love that show. That was one of my favorite shows. I like American Horror Story as well as the spinoff. Yeah, and in my opinion, there should be more witch shows revolving around Black people. I like that type of genre. I'm into vampires. I'm into all of that. I'm into supernatural shit. Oh, and I don't know if you all watch this show. It's a Native American show on Hulu called Reservation Dogs. They just start their season 2. I watched that show. I'll I'll say this. It's about time like they show Native Americans doing day-to-day shit in modern times. Like if you notice prior, right? Anytime you watch a Native American program, it always revolves around shit in the past. It's like That's fine and dandy, but like I want to see Native Americans in modern times. They haven't went anywhere. I want to see Native Americans doing day-to-day shit. And so the show Reservation Dogs, it revolves around the teens and reservations and shit like that. It's all right show. I support that show. And and the thing is, Native Americans are so misrepresented. Like right now, I can only count 2 shows that's on streaming revolving around them in modern times, okay? It's that show, and then there's another show on Peacock called Rutherford Falls. That's a Native American show. That's it. Like, Native Americans are so underrepresented, in my opinion. Like, anytime I have to count of the programs that's revolving around Native Americans in modern times, that's a problem. I think when it comes to representation in the media, I think, Black people have it easier compared to others. Because Native Americans, I can't even name that many programs revolving around them. I can't. I'm just being real. Madman says, "Oh, my favorite Tales of the Crypt was Demi Moore episode." I think I remember that episode. I'm gonna tell you, I think it was like a movie, I think. Yeah, Demon Knight with Jada. That was my favorite. And that used to scare shit out of me when I was a kid. And Billy Zane was the devil. That used to scare me. But yeah, I'm pretty much numb to horror stuff. I'm not easily scared. Like I once was when I was younger. That shit don't faze me, but I'm into that shit. I'm into dark shit. I'm into supernatural stuff. You know? And also, I'm gonna tell you another show I haven't seen in a while. That's pretty good. I think I'm trying to think of the name of the show I used to watch. Gosh. Damn, it'll come to me. But anyways, another thing that happened in the news. I don't know why they keep doing this, these journalists, right? So the journalist asked Brad Pitt while he was promoting his movie about Zahara going to Spelman. So I'm gonna share that. And he looks high as fuck. But I'm gonna play it. Let's see. Let's see here.
How proud of you are of Zahara announcing her college choice today as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And they're always asking him about that. Like, okay, for instance, like when he won his award at the Oscars, they even asked him an awkward question about Maddox. And just to give y'all a backstory about that, rumor has it, he's kind of estranged from the older kids. And the reason why him and Angelina, they're not together it has something to do with the well-being of the children. And, you know, Brad has a drinking problem. And in that situation in the airplane, yeah, he did allegedly put his hands on Maddox. Okay. And Maddox changed his last name. He don't even go by Pitt. He just changed it and kept it to Jolie. And that's why I'm hearing the older kids don't fuck with Brad like that. Now, as far as the twins go, I mean, you know, it's court ordered for them to see Brad. But, you know, when you, at a certain age, you can pretty much choose if you want to see your parent or not. So, yeah. Batman says Pitt did his thing in Fight Club. Yeah, he sure did. And, you know, Brad Pitt in a lot of classic films. He always been seen as, like, good looking, you know. But yeah. Okay, Jackie says, Abigail said at night, hoping to see UFO or anything. I embrace the supernatural. Girl, listen, I wish. I mean, it's kind of naive not to believe like there's other life beings in another planet. And I'm just wondering if, you know, if they exist, you know, I would not feel no type of way if aliens came to Earth. Like, I wanted, like, if aliens exist, I would want them to come to Earth, you know? So I believe, you know, I mean, if they're out there, they sure don't give a fuck about us because, you know, they haven't came to us. And, you know, it would be nice if aliens came to Earth because I would embrace them if they come off nice. So yeah, it's kind of is you know, there are possibilities that aliens might exist. Now, if they're anything like we see in the media, I doubt it. You know, speaking of the planet, right? You know, they're trying to settle in Mars, right? And, you know, when that day comes, would any of y'all be willing to move to another planet? Because that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to figure out a way to settle in Mars. I mean, would I move to fucking Mars? Good question. We haven't got advanced yet to even settle into Mars. And I doubt in my lifetime that we would settle into Mars. I think the day that would happen, I'll probably be long gone. So, yeah. Heck yeah, I love me some X-Files. I watched that show religiously. I was so obsessed with that show. Oh my gosh, I love me some X-Files. And Fox had the best shows. Oh my gosh, from Martin, New York Undercover, X-Files, Married with Children, In Living Color. And I'm going to tell you what really pissed me off, right? I hate it when they decided to turn UPN and WB into fucking CW. That was the worst decision possible because at least those networks had more diversity, okay? UPN was where all the majority black shows were at, okay? Moesha, the Parkers, Girlfriends. And what fucking pissed me off about the merge, right? They didn't even give Girlfriends a proper finale. It just left in a fucking cliffhanger. That shit pissed me off. I ain't like how they did all my favorite shows when they merged. That was some bullshit. And now they want to sell the network off. Like, who the fuck even watched CW? Let's be real. Like, the only, like, when they did merge, the only shows, like, I even watched on CW was, like, Vampire Diaries, Black Lightning. And, I mean, I do watch an All-American every blue moon. But that's pretty much it. And I ain't like how they did The Game. I hated how they fucked up that show. They fucked up all the good shows when they decided to merge. Oh yeah, Tubi is a good app. I love Tubi as well as Pluto TV. They got some good stuff on there. Yep, Madman, Rain Brothers, Jamie Foxx Show, and Smart Guy used to be on WB. I love Smart Guy. Parenthood. That was with Robert Townsend. That was my favorite show. That's what I'm saying. Like, when them networks were around, it was more diverse. And then when they decided to merge, there was a lack of diversity. And I would have preferred if they just kept it what it was. Like, there was no need to fucking merge. And now they're fucking gonna merge HBO Max with Discovery Plus. And it seems like Discovery Plus is gonna like take over HBO Max. And I'm very pissed off about that because who the fuck watches Discovery Plus? I mean, yeah, I watched the free trial of Discovery Plus, but it's not enough for me to spend money to watch these little fucking reality shows. Like, come on. And they're getting rid of all the original programs that's scripted for that fucking merge. Like, they're fucking up the whole HBO Max concept. Like, it's stupid as fuck to me. Hey James, how are you? And HBO Max is popular, so it's like, why fuck up something that's good? And they're already like canceling shows as well as movies they had coming up. Like, okay, Batgirl, okay? That was supposed to come on HBO Max. And now they canceled that. Like, what the fuck? Jackie says, tell me why I just got a gay medication commercial and a Peacock TV commercial. Damn, do we have any privacy anymore? Yeah, they've been really pushing it, and I noticed that. Like, when I watch my streaming services and I'm watching commercials, they push these random ass commercials. So, like I said, fuck what they're doing on to HBO Max. It was fine the way it was. And there's a couple shows I watch on here, like, okay, for instance, you know, even though it's not a scripted show, but I enjoy watching Legendary. That's a ballroom reality competition where everyone in the ballroom community competes or whatever. I enjoy that show. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm very pissed off at what they're doing to HBO Max. Like, who the fuck? Like, why the fuck do they want to merge with Discovery Plus of all places? Like, come on. HBO Max is more popular. And I don't like how they're just getting rid of certain shows and they're even like getting rid of movies original movies on HBO Max. Like if you notice when you go on HBO Max, certain programs are gone now. It's ridiculous. And as far as Peacock go, the only like show that stands out like I watch on there is, you know, Bel Air. That's a I love I mean that was I mean I thought it was gonna be lame, but I thought it was a good reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. But yeah, that show has grown on me. And I'm looking forward to that horror film they have coming on Peacock. It's called They / Them. And it's revolving around some sort of, you know, one of those camps that they try to make gays, trans people straight or whatever, cisgender or whatever. So that looks like a pretty good movie and stars Kevin Bacon. That might be a good movie. Jackie says, I love ballroom too, and I'm such a faggot. Hardly we are too much alike. I think we are the same age, the same sign. Girl, I'm a Virgo. And I'm a 90s baby. Yeah, I'm into that scene. I'm into the ballroom scene. I like the culture. I love the dance moves they do. Shit, I grew up on RuPaul when I was younger. I loved me some RuPaul. But Virgos for life. Yep. So I'm gonna get off of here, and I hope you all have a good night. Until next time, peace. Oh, and like and share. And thanks for stopping through, everyone. Peace. Yes, girl, we are Virgos. We are Virgos for life. Yeah, I holla at y'all. Peace.